Well, hello everyone. It's NikNak here. This is a little bit off the script because I wanted to put something out sooner, and even now I'm pretty late to the party on this one. But Fate Samurai Remnant. I wanted to go ahead and give my first thoughts as well as do a quick look at the Treasure Box edition, which I did end up picking up as well. Honestly, I'm kind of a stupid sheep. I got it both digitally and physically. Just because I was impatient and wouldn't have had much time to play until like a week from now otherwise. So, Samurai Remnant is so far really fun. Everything just works and clicks together. If you're worried about it being a Muso game, while there are moments where it's Muso-like, if you're like me and your problem with Muso games tends to be their grindy nature or the times when they just have you repeat the same, like literally the same shit over and over again for a high rating. Like the general gameplay loop of a Muso is not here. If your problem is the simplistic combo system, then maybe you're still not going to be a fan of this one. But otherwise, it just takes the Muso combat system and applies it to more of a JRPG format. If I had any problems with it, I would say the biggest issue, actually the biggest issue is kind of the biggest boon for it as well. Early on, you absolutely feel the difference between using Iori versus using a servant. They feel very different. It's almost like two completely different games. That is so fun to work with. And the way it works is you have basically a bar for how long you can use the servant and how often you can use them. And it does not refill that quickly. So you will be using Iori most of the time, and occasionally you'll be able to take control of your servant, and when you do, you really feel like that's when you start feeling like you're mowing down enemies outside of larger mini bosses or straight up servant fights. The problem is, as the game goes on, and this is story narratively makes sense, but as the game goes on, the gap between servant and Iori starts to lessen, and the result of that is I stopped feeling the need to use the servant as often outside of very dire situations, which sucks when the servant just becomes a glorified manual super attack and not so much of an actual, like, go-to option. Otherwise, I'm going to be saving it mostly for boss fights. So, like, last 5 to 10 hours, I haven't used Saber or very many of the other servants that much. That said, the story on, like, show here is pretty good so far. I know a few things because I'm really bad about spoilers, but I've only spoiled a little bit here. But what I do have intrigues me a lot. So yeah, that's just my general first thoughts here. Maybe I'll do some. Oh yeah, I definitely will do something more spoilery once I've completed the game. And I think I might be, when I eventually get to the New Game Plus playthrough, I'll probably be streaming that one. But yeah. Now on to the reason I'm posting this video. This is kind of padding for this. I wasn't even sure I was going to make this, even though I was getting that Treasure Box edition. Because this here is functionally worthless. It is better to buy the Digital Deluxe than this. Specifically, though, I don't know if you can see it here. I have the PS5 edition. Yeah, it doesn't show on the box itself. But if you're looking at the PS5 edition especially, don't get this. Alright. I'm going to take a moment to open this and shift over to a desk view of this. So here we go. I've removed the plastic. So, let's see. Is this one just a box? Yeah, it's a pretty simple box. No, wait. Nope. It lifts up like that. So, what you have here, it's no secret that it is absolutely inferior to the Japanese version. The Japanese version, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Maybe I'll chuck in an image of it in editing. It includes a lot more. But here you have, these are stickers, Command Seal stickers. And I actually kind of like these. I might stick one of these on the back of my phone, whichever one I like most. And they also provide you a CD of the soundtrack. Now, this is only a limited selection. I'm seeing on the back of the soundtrack here 13 tracks. I could have swore it was a bit more, but I think Yeah, no. Sorry. So, it is 13 tracks, yes. I have seen a YouTube video that seem to just be posting this soundtrack online. And the soundtrack online, it covers about 50 some odd minutes of the soundtrack. Let me see if I can get this plastic off for a moment. See if there's anything cool what the artwork looks like inside. So while I'm doing that, I will also point out that if you want to copy the soundtrack, you can actually get it on digital platforms along with the with a digital art book for $10. The art book might seem like a turnoff for you for that $10 option, but the soundtrack itself, that is... I don't think a lot of people are sporting CD players anymore. So if you're like me, this is a cool novelty, but until I turn around and go buy like a digital, like a disc player to burn this CD onto something, or unless I rip out an old CD player, or if you have a CD player in your car, not much you can really do with this. So it's more of a shelf piece, which is why I'm opening it instead of keeping it in the plastic. So yeah, that said, one thing that might immediately catch your eye about this, and this will come up in a minute again, is... So a pretty unnotable disc here. I can go and close. It wasn't worth opening. That's all Japanese. This is a straight copy of the Japanese version that was produced, though they might have included some extra English copyright details for distribution in the US. I'll put this aside, actually. I need to remove this from the box later, so we'll slip this over here for now. This is going to come up again in a minute. Another reason you don't necessarily want to pick up this version is because this is a PS5 game disc. Now, it's possible that this disc works on a PS4. It's possible. If you get the digital version, you're getting the PS5 upgrade for free. It is not a paid upgrade. It was just available for pre-ordering the basic PS4 package or PS5 package. This will not work on a PS4. So let's say you have an old PS4 or PS4 Pro, as well as a PlayStation 5 in different rooms. You can cloud save your data between the two and have the same game available on both consoles. That's not an option you have here. You can't even swap the disc out. Another reason why I don't recommend getting the PS5 version physically. I'd have to assume the PS4 disc version would hopefully include the digital, the PS5 version's upgrade, but that might not be the case. Frankly, if you're getting the PlayStation version, for sure just get digital. Unless you're like looking for a collector's piece, again, this is not a worthwhile thing to grab. I didn't think about that when I got this one, but you never know. Now, if that's not something you think you'll ever have to worry about, maybe that's not a factor. I need to be careful with this part, because this part right here, that code there, I actually want to redeem in my own version of the game. Okay, so I've opened up the plastic, remove that here. Okay, yeah, it's standard. Maybe I'll let Seki borrow this one at some point if she wants to play. I like having physical games around. Like, as much as I'm bemoaning here how the digital version is just the better deal for this, I actually don't mind having a physical copy. It looks nice on the shelf, and it gives me something to lend to people. Keep that on top for the moment. Yes. So, I'm not showing the other side of this, or... Okay. Wow, really? Okay. So, I'm not going to show the other side, but it does come with additional costumes for Iori and Saber. That's fun. You don't get that. This is exclusive to the Treasure Box edition. At least for now, until they add it for like 99 cents on the PlayStation Store. There is a code here, but I'm surprised here. This thing lasts until December 31st of 2099, apparently. I'm not confident that the servers will be up by then for the PlayStation Store, so maybe don't take that at face value. This is one of the cooler things they've included here. I'll go ahead and move this to the side. No need to keep that over here. This is a fabric wall hanging. Now, I'm actually pretty happy with this thing. This is like, if you think this looks cool, absolutely this might be the most worthwhile thing in here. Oh gosh, I can't show this in its entirety. this is the fabric wall hanging, which is pretty cool. I actually really like the box art. So, like, you might see this hung behind me in a future video here soon. And it's cool. It being fabric means it's going to be a lot more durable than your average paper poster. Okay. Here's the controversial part that not a lot of people are going to know. I'm going to move us back down to the table. So, this is the material book. Things are about, like, I only caught this morning before it arrived, and this is what prompted me to actually do this unboxing. Remove this. And this is not something that was readily advertised. Technically, the writing on the wall was there if you look online, but it's kind of deceptive and scummy, actually. Alright, so I'm going to do some editing magic here. Something came up a second ago, but this book here is entirely in Japanese. It's the material book, so if you've ever read one of the FGO material books, raw translated, this will look pretty similar, actually. Oh, I should be careful, because they're... Well, I guess it doesn't matter much, because it's in Japanese, so unless you speak Japanese, I'm probably not spoiling too much for you. Careful if you don't speak Japanese, I guess. Let's see here. I'm going to avoid that page, because there is something very spoilery on that one. Can I find Iori here? Iori. There should be a... Well, I guess... Here we go. Like, this is the short story. All in Japanese, so if you're a Western member of the audience, which I assume most people here don't speak Japanese directly or can't directly translate this, you're shit out of luck here. I don't know if it was Koei Tecmo or NIS or NISA, or if it was freaking Type Moon's localization teams. Whoever, this is not this. Actually, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is not the same localization team that does other Type Moon works. Albert's team with FGO. This was probably Koei Tecmo or NISA. I find this quite scummy. There was only one single indication that this wasn't translated online. This was advertised online. This is a translation booklet that includes a translated version of the short story or the written up stories that were included in the material book. It's cool that they offered that if they were going to do this, but and I don't mind buying foreign material books. I've got the first two FGO material books down there. It's still a cool shelf piece, and it's still got artwork in it. But they really should have advertised this, because I don't think most people are going to find the same value in this that I or other Type Moon fans might. It's kind of fucked up. And just to further show it, I don't think this is Type Moon. I don't think this is the Type Moon Lasangle team that you normally see handle these things. This is the material book that came with what's it called? Mahotsukai no Yoru. I did a review on this last year. And it's in English. All of it, include the short story, all the writings. This is completely in English. Like, this is brand new localized. They went the extra mile with this. And this is probably what a lot of people were expecting for Samurai Remnant because of how they handled Mahotsukai no Yoru. And I was pretty happy with what I got here. This is different. It's almost like, if you're going to get this, it was just worth it to get the Japanese collector's edition at this point. Like, if you're like, you could have got the Japanese collector's edition, and I could have printed that out myself or found a translation online myself of this at some point. In fact, there have been translations of this because I think some of this might have been pre-release material. Because I haven't read this yet, but I swear I saw some writing on this. That might have been, I might be mistaking it for like a pre-release manga or something. Either way, though, when the coolest thing in your package here, and the only thing that's really truly worth it are likely 99-cent costumes in the future in this, why the hell would you get this version of the game specifically? Especially if you're a PS5 owner. You shouldn't. If you want all this material, just get the digital deluxe version. I don't know about the short story, but at least the art book portions are on the digital deluxe version. As it stands now, I really cannot recommend this collector's edition. It'll be sitting on my shelf, but I still might have got it otherwise. Though I probably would have got the Japanese version. Really, just save yourself money if you do find this like online, either secondhand or if they restock it firsthand. Just get yourself the digital deluxe version. And that's about it for now. I'm still working my way through Samurai Remnant. I'm in the middle of the 3rd chapter now. And I'm about 20 hours in, I'd say. So once I finish up my first playthrough, and maybe when I've had some time put into FGO, I'll probably stream the second playthrough. And after I stream it, I'll probably put out a full-scale review of it, of my experience, once I've reread the story, restreamed, played the new game plus, and really got a good grasp on all the content there is to offer here. That said, the next thing I put out personally on the channel probably won't be Samurai Remnant. My plan is to go into the Tsukuhime web browser port that the Chad French type Moon fans put together for us. I'll see if I actually can get around to that, because famously, or maybe not so famously, I tried to play the fan iPhone version of Fate's Stay Night, and that went to shit. So who knows? But into whatever I do next, I hope to see you all there. Bye.